Alright, what is up everyone? SD Philos 4 here, back with another episode of the RePHIL Studio, a Bang Dream podcast series where we speak with many members around the community and get to learn a bit more about their perspectives about Bang Dream as a series, as well as many other fun achievements and other fun topics to talk about. So today I have the utmost pleasure and honor to welcome Feathers to our studio as part of a special guest. So Feathers, welcome to the RePHIL Studio.
Thank you.
So,
I don't think I've ever done a podcast before, so this is exciting.
Yeah. Well, again, it's going to be a first for many, and I think it's going to be, it's just going to be a really interesting time just to get to learn a little bit more about you and let other people learn a bit more about you and why you love Bang Dream as a franchise for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, why don't you briefly introduce yourself and just so that people get to know a little bit more about you.
Sure. Well, I'm Feathers, and I've been playing Bandori for a long time, I guess. I am most known for being a big Hello Happy World fan, cosplayer, writer, artist, etc. So most of what I do is not necessarily tiering, although I do tier the events that are important to me. I'm mostly on the creative side, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure. So you mentioned you've got into Bandori for a while. Was it when the game first came out, or perhaps even earlier than that?
Before that, yeah. So my first introduction to Bang Dream was I have a lot of friends in the Love Live fandom. I come from Love Live, and most of us played on the JP server over there, and so we kept up with JP Gacha game news, and a lot of my friends got into Bang Dream when it was just fresh in Japan. And I decided to just wait for it to come out in English because it would be easier to use my iTunes to buy things. So the first time I saw Bang Dream was actually, I think it was in 2017. I went to Anime Expo, and let's see, what was it called? It was called Bushy Road Grand Festival or something like that. It was down in Long Beach, and it was a mini Bushy Road event, and they had the first version of the English version of Bang Dream there for you to try. I think you could play 2 or 3 songs.
Okay.
And that was my first actual interaction to what Bang Dream was. And then after that, I just waited until the game came out and started playing it immediately.
So definitely a very veteran to the Bandori series for sure. I know a lot of people they definitely got into it relatively recently. I think for you it might be pretty interesting to see so many people who very recently get into Bang Dream and get to learn a bit more about this series when if it's only just a few months ago or maybe just a year ago.
Yeah, it's really weird to see people come and go, and I'm still here, and there have been a lot of people who have come in and played a few events, hang out for a bit, and then I never see them again. And then I don't know who anyone is anymore.
Well, of course, we'll definitely talk a little bit more about your creative side, and of course talk a little bit more about con stuff pretty soon. But of course, before we talk about that, why don't we just go into the big question? I think a lot of people of course know you as a big Hello Happy World fan. What was the catalyst? What started it all towards your journey to become maybe one of the biggest Hello Happy World fans in the world?
Oh boy. So before Bang Dream came out, I had a pretty big following on Love Live Twitter, so I was just throwing out okay, who do you think I would like based on who I like from Love Live? My favorite Love Live character is Nico. And so some of my Japanese friends and my friends living in Japan who are playing Bandori were like, "Oh, well, what's your favorite kind of music?" And my favorite band is Nightwish, which is a symphonic metal band. So they were like, "Oh, well, you'll love Roselia. Here are the characters. You'll probably like Yukina a lot." And I didn't really know anything about them, so I was just reading because I was trying to prepare in advance for when the game came out, and I could look ahead to the gacha to save up for what I wanted. And So I went in thinking that like Roselia would be my favorite, and I do like Roselia. Sayo is my favorite member of Roselia. So the the game came out, and I do like the band intros. Like I'm really trying to familiarize myself with these characters because there's 25 of them, not 9 of them, and that's a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm reading through the band stories. I really like Roselia, and then I get to like the Hello Happy World band story, and my first thought was like that Kokoro was like the ugliest character I had ever seen. Like she was like, I don't know, she looked like she went, I don't know, she's got like McDonald's colors, so it was really unappealing to me, and like just the way that they acted and everything. But I really liked Misaki, obviously. She's like the easiest character for most people to relate to, I think. And, you know, that's by design. Obviously, all of the characters are designed in a way for people to relate to them so that you spend money on them. But I really liked Misaki, and so as I was reading the band stories and the card stories, I wanted to know more about her, and then by extension, I would get more information about Hello Happy World as a whole. So about all of those characters, and I just kind of like fell deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole, I guess. And they just grew on me. Like I don't know, it was just like it was like a switch flipped, really, and suddenly they were just my favorite. I just loved everything about them. And I get really big into shipping because I write a lot of fan fiction, and the biggest ship for Hello Happy World in Japan at the time was Misa Coco, and I really liked that. So that's just kind of how I discovered them, I guess. And so now I've read like all their events, all their card stories, like encyclopedic knowledge kind of thing. So yeah.
It's very, very inspiring for someone who's you know, a really big fan. And of course, I think one of the most interesting things you just mentioned, how, you know, at first you mentioned you really didn't like, or at least maybe you didn't have the biggest or the best first impression on Kokoro at the start, but you obviously things changed quite a bit. Did your, like, you know, sort of liking towards Misaki, and then eventually how Misaki interacted with Kokoro, was that like part of the reason how, like, why your opinion like of Kokoro and other Hello Happy World members changed?
I think so for sure, because like her whole story, like Misaki's whole story, is that she like broadens her horizons by becoming friends and doing unexpected, spontaneous things, and you know, really putting in the effort to raise their band up a level, I suppose. And so as she grew to like them more, so did I, because I guess I was reading the story from her perspective as well. So
yeah. Do you see yourself be like, do you think you're similar in a way to Misaki in a sense, like, you know, seeing her grow and develop, and also just be like definitely a leader of sorts, and a little bit of like a mother figure to Hello Happy World?
yeah, for sure. I think it's mostly in the way that she goes along with things, I suppose. Like she acts like she's afraid to jump in and try something new, or she acts really put off, but then she puts in the effort, and like taking that step out of her comfort zone really helped her a lot. And I've been doing that a lot, like in my work and stuff like that. Like, you know, the leap of faith kind of thing. Like you just do it and you hope it works out, and a lot of the time it works out. So it's just been kind of like, I don't know, I can relate to her in that way. And then obviously she has her big giant mascot costume, and I'm a furry, so it's like the obvious connection there is that she gets to have like another part of herself in this character that she has. And so I can relate directly to that as well. So that helps a lot.
For sure. Feathers, of course, you mentioned a lot of, you know, band stories and just event stories in general that you follow of Hello Happy World, and you know, of course, there has been quite a lot of stories. Is there one particular event story in the game, or that you think is your favorite, that's related to Hello Happy World?
Oh, definitely Band Story 2 by like a long shot. That's probably my favorite one. A close second is actually, it wasn't a Hello Happy event specifically, but I really liked the Band Girls of the Dead story because it was really funny to me that Kokoro really loves horror films. So I did hear that one as well. But yeah, definitely Band Story 2 is my favorite out of all of them so far.
Okay, and of course, a band story too, which was the "I Need You" event in the game. Very strange name. I'm just gonna keep pointing it out. "I Need You" is like a really like interesting way of translating "Kimi ga inakucha." That's like,
Well, it's true.
yeah, it is right, but it's like, it just
Yeah.
doesn't. It sounds really. I guess it's really simplified, but it gets the job done in terms of actually saying what the title is. But of course, Feathers, you tiered for that event, right? And
Yep.
you were first, right?
Yeah. It was a lot of fun, and it was my first place, I guess.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
I think it was the sorry, I think it was the only event where both of the people competing for first place were in the same server.
Oh,
I think that's the only time that's ever happened so far.
Oh, well, that's interesting. I actually never knew that.
Yeah. Yeah, when the event started, Snips and I were both going for first, and we just played together the whole way, and we decided that it would just be what it was. And I think it only worked because we were such good friends. So yeah, there were two first place tiers in that server. So
I guess maybe enlighten us a little bit more there. Like, how was that experience like? Because like it was competition, but was not really then, right? Because you were all still playing with each other, and of course, both you and Snips were good friends. So, what was that experience like in terms of like, in a competitive event where both people are kind of working together in a sense?
I don't know. I think it was just fun because, if one of us did get really tired, we were friends, so we were like, "Oh, do you want to just go take a rest and nap for like 2 or 3 hours?" And we would both be like, "Yeah, okay, let's go do that." And it wasn't like rough competition kind of thing where we're like at each other's throats. It was like it was like we were playing together, and we would see how it went. And like most of our time was spent watching like terrible movies and stuff like that. And it was like halfway through the event, and like Snips was just like, "Oh, like you deserve to have this. Like you're such a good friend, and like you really love Hello Happy World." And I don't know, it was like a really wholesome moment when he was like, "Oh, this one is yours. This one you can have this one." And overall, I think it was just a really fun experience to play with someone who had the same goal as me, because you have the same passion, I guess. You're working towards the same ending.
For sure. Again, obviously, for someone who is also relatively familiar with the tiering community, I know Snips is definitely a very prominent tier, very, very good tier too, especially if he's trying to snipe something, especially when his name is Snips. He's a very formidable opponent, and not someone that you want to be on the other side of the competition. So it's really interesting to see here this perspective where you're on the same side of the competition, and again things worked out, and you were able to get that T1. So with sort of his sort of in a sense of him pushing you as well, but also just being able to have a really nice genuine experience about tiering together. So that's very good.
Yeah, we met back in Hello My Happy World, which I kind of consider it to be the first Hello Happy World band story event. And for that one, we just met because we were both trying to get top 10. And then I think he got first and I got third. So we go pretty far back.
Wow. So obviously, you don't really tier too much anymore, but if, maybe to go back a bit, if there's any sort of suggestion, like for someone who maybe is trying to go for their first top 10 or first podium, do you have any suggestions on how someone could prepare for an event and prepare themselves for a title, especially if it's a competitive event?
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm lying in wait right now for Band Story 3, so I'm kind of doing my own preparation. But in the past, for me, I put a lot of emphasis on card collecting in general. So I always try to save my stars for the important gachas, so I can have the most optimal team possible. Which you don't need that to tier high, but I like to do it. it makes me feel a bit more confident going in.
Mm-hmm.
And I also really just like collecting the cards. So if that's important to you, don't scout for anything that you don't need. Like save everything. If you have the money to spare, buy stars during the sales. Black Friday, of course, is the obvious one, but anytime you can get more than you would if you were just buying a regular star pack, I would suggest setting money aside for that. And then just as the event comes closer, make sure that you have your time and your schedule sorted out. I know it's hard because a lot of tiers right now are still in school,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's in like their last year of high school or college, whatever, or if you have work. You got to try and get as much free time as you can, depending on how high you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
There's been so many events where someone just has a shift at work they can't get rid of, and that's all that it takes for someone who has a completely free week to get ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're really, really serious about it, and like your life will end if you don't get first place, or something like that, you really got to commit to it, I think. And if you have the free time and you have the funds to do it, I think all you need then is the endurance. So you just need to be able to stay awake, and of course that's easy when you have friends. So my advice there is to make a lot of friends because they'll stay up all night with you and watch terrible movies.
For sure, for sure. And obviously, speaking of preparations, right? Again, all these tips very important to make sure that you stay motivated and throughout the entire event. And also, it's a lot of preparation, right? It's not easy to go for a top 10, a top 3, or a first place. Some people do have the misinterpretation that it's really easy, but it really isn't. There's a lot of effort and determination and costs they have to do. So it's not something that it can be done so lightly or so easily. And I'm sure that if you remember how many stars or how much you had to spend for to get T1 and I Need You, I think it was it's probably a lot. And maybe, I don't know if you want to disclose that.
Oh, sure. Well, before the event started, I had around 200,000 stars, but that was also because I was gonna gotcha. Like that was really important to me, was that I got the 2 4-stars, which were of course Misaki and Kokoro. So that was also before sparking existed. So you could spend all your stars and get nothing. Like there was no sparking, there was no safety net. So I think to get both of those cards, it was about 120,000 stars. And I didn't need them. I just wanted them because it was like important to me at the time to get them. And then for the actual event itself, I think I spent around 55 to 60,000, something like that. It might have been a bit less. It's been a while, but I feel like I spent more getting a top 10 in Bangirls of the Dead than I did on my first place. That just goes to show that you never know. You have no idea how the event's going to go. So you shouldn't assume that it'll be slow, or if there's only one server that's competing. If you're using like a server to do it, if there's only one, you shouldn't assume it's going to be easy. You never know when Snips is going to come up behind you. So,
Especially if it's Hello Happy World event.
Yeah, definitely. If you're doing a Hello Happy event.
Yeah, you gotta watch out for Snips. You gotta watch out for Snips.
become friends with Snips first, and then
true. Give a little bit of hush money, right?
Yeah. I did send him some Nessos. Some
nice.
Nesso berry plushies, so
nice.
you can bribe him.
No, there's a lesson there.
Yeah.
Feathers, and quickly before we take a really short break, obviously future events, tiering, you don't really tier, but you mentioned Band Story 3 is going to be your next event that you want to tier. What's your goal?
I want to get second place, because then I'll have 3 Hello Happy podiums for all 3 Hello Happy band stories. And then after that, I don't know. Like they'd have to make like an event that's really attractive to me for me to want to do it again.
For sure.
But after that, I'll probably just focus on card collecting. So.
Yeah, for sure. And you're in a again, I'm not 100% in the loop. I believe you're in one server, but there is a competing server as well, right? I'm pretty sure.
For which event?
For Band Story 3.
Oh, I have no idea. I know that there was another server made on the same day, but then the banner was not Kaoru, so I think the server died like the next day. And I don't know if there's like a refugee server or something where everyone went after. It's not really relevant to me. I just focus on
you just focus on yourself, eh?
Yeah, just play more and you'll be fine.
Play more than everyone else. That's all you have to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, of course, when the time comes, when it's closer to the event of or the start of the event, we'll certainly try, and we'll continuously to try and help and support and get more people, hopefully through the server as well. So probably later in the near future when the event is about to come up. I'll definitely be asking permission to share the server link of T1. Who was T1 again in your server?
I think it's still Pasta.
Okay, yeah, I'll probably ask them to see if they want to, if they don't mind sharing, and I'll definitely try and spread the word so that, of course, we get more people to support you in your goals.
Yeah, we can trap people in our server and make them watch movies.
More terrible movies, right?
Like Boss Baby and Cats and, all that stuff no one wants to see.
So obviously, if that's an experience you want to enjoy, feel free to join the Band Story 3 tiering server. And again, links will be shared, of course, in my server. But of course, you could all, of course, join the server and speak with our special guests like Feathers, and you'll be able to even get the server links from all our guests as well if you want to help them and support them. So
yeah,
okay. So we'll take a quick short break on the YouTube vid. We'll be right back. RePHIL in a few minutes, and we'll see you all soon. The RePHIL Studio is brought to you by the UNGA Discord server. Feel free to join us. Links are in the description below, and you'll be able to join our community who's passionate about Bang Dream and tiering in the game, and you'll also get the chance to meet with some of our special guests featured in this podcast series. It's a great time, fun place to host events, and we hope to see you there. The RePHIL Studio will be back very shortly. All right, everyone, welcome back. Once again, special guest for this episode of the RePHIL Studio is Feathers, and we talked about her experience with tiering in the Band Story 2 Hello Happy World, as well as why she is a very avid Hello Happy World fan. Now, of course, being a fan of Hello Happy World, you've done a lot in terms of the creative side to show your appreciation and devotion for Hello Happy World. I'll probably ask you a little bit later down the road, or I'll try and find some pictures, because of course we're locals, so I probably have a couple pictures of your Michelle cosplay, but you have like pretty much a full body size Michelle cosplay. And it's the Bad Bear costume, right?
Yes, it's the costume is removable, so if I wanted her to be a different bear, I could do that too.
Oh, so. Yeah. For those who haven't seen it, again, there'll probably be a picture or a graphic on the video, but it's really, really well done. If you haven't seen it in person, just try and go to any con that maybe features some Bandery guest, preferably Itomiku, and you'll definitely see that Michelle cosplay. So it's something that it's definitely really good, especially when you bring the squad as well. You bring your buddies and your squad as well to be full Hello Happy. That's always really nice.
Definitely, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So. First of all, what first motivated you to say, you know what, I'm gonna make a Michelle cosplay, like a full-on Michelle cosplay?
Oh, I don't even remember. I feel like it was one of those things where I said I was gonna do it, and I was like, oh well, no one's gonna believe me, but I'm just gonna do it, and then I did it, and I don't know. I really like the Bad Bear costume. That's my favorite card. It was the first event I did. It was the first 4-star I saved up for. And yeah, I just wanted to have a cosplay of it so that I could not have my face out, because it's nice to not have to smile at cameras.
Well, that's one way to motivate yourself to do cosplay. How did that planning go? How long did that take to get like sort of version 1 of the Michelle cosplay out there?
Well, so version 1 basically is just the first instance of it existing. Like there was no prototype or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like my background is like my job is that I'm a professional fursuit maker, so I already had this knowledge of how to build like mascot style suits. Um, so I had like a plan, I guess, in my head. Like I had to do very little research, I think. Like I just kind of knew what to do already, and it was just a matter of actually doing it. Um, so just like a very brief rundown of it, I guess, is that yeah, it's a full scale suit, so it is the same size in real life as it would be in the game if like Misaki was like a real person and she existed and she was wearing the suit. It's like completely accurate to the game. Misaki says she sees out the mouth, so the vision is through the mouth. Basically, I got a 3D modeler because I don't know how to do that. I don't want to waste my time learning how to do that. I got someone who can 3D model to model myself to like my proportions. I'm like a little bit shorter than Misaki, but only by like a couple inches. And then they modeled like Michelle around me, around my frame, and I got the pattern enlarged and printed like Pepakura style, which is like the paper folding that people do to make 3D paper models. And I put it together with some 1-inch foam that you can just buy at craft stores and glued it all together. And then I had a big bear that I covered with a special fleece that is used on like theme park mascots and stuff. Like if you've ever been to Universal Studios and you see like a Minion or whatever, it's the same skin that the Minion would have, or the same material they make Muppets out of. So I custom dyed that to Michelle's colors, and then I hand sewed the whole thing together and put the skin on the bear. And after that, it was just like a matter of building the props and making her little outfit. So all in all, it sounds kind of simple when I'm saying it, but it was definitely hundreds of hours over like a whole year to get it done.
Whole year's worth of effort. That's of course it's something that, especially if you have the talent, if you have the skill for it, it's like something that like I feel that is just so, it's so rewarding. Like I have a couple of cosplay friends as well. I see them spend a lot of time to get that cosplays done, and it's not something that I could do. It's not something that a lot of people could do, but those who are gifted and are able to do it, it's just so, I think it's so worth it. And it's so, I feel it's definitely really rewarding to be able to see a project you've built by yourself, like, or mostly by yourself, and just kind of slowly see that progress and be able to show it with people and share it around. So
yeah, it's kind of like tearing. Like you got to keep the motivation to get to whenever your event is. If it's like a year away, you got to keep the motivation to keep making whatever you're making until it's done. So
yeah, so obviously a lot of people, when they think of tearing, it's like, oh, it's just that one week, right, of event. But no, there's a lot of preparation you do before, and weeks, months, maybe a whole year in advance. You're doing that preparation, and obviously cosplay is a very big commitment as well. You got to do quite a bit to make sure that everything fits and everything works out.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure. Obviously you did the Bad Bear, and you mentioned that you could interchange with like other costumes, right? Have you made plans on like what other Michelle costumes you want to do?
I haven't decided yet. Because since the pandemic happened, I really lost motivation for cosplay because there was nowhere to wear it to, obviously.
For sure.
Mostly I just don't have time, and I had other outfits that I wanted to do. Like I wanted to do the Band Story 2 dresses for Misaki and Kokoro because my girlfriend cosplays Kokoro with me. And I bought a bunch of materials while I was in New York for Anime NYC. And then, obviously, a few months later, we got a lockdown, and nothing was happening, and nothing is still happening. So I'm just kind of waiting, I think, until I decide to make anything else after this.
For sure. Of course, things are slowly improving, right? We're both locals, and we're both seeing that things are slowly improving, and we hope that maybe not this year, but next year there's going to be some movement, and perhaps you'll be able to travel again pretty soon.
Yeah, I hope so. I get my second dose on the 14th, so
Ooh.
I'll feel a lot better after that.
For
So.
sure, for sure. Why don't we take a trip down memory lane to try and remember about all the the fun con times you had in the past? So maybe let's talk about the con specifically, where you brought out your Michelle cosplay, and of course brought your Hello Happy gang. What was the first con did you go to with that with your Michelle cosplay?
I think it was. So the first con that I went to had nothing Bandori related going on. I just took Michelle for like a test run. But it was Anime Revolution, which is our local anime convention in downtown Vancouver. And I just took her around, made sure I could walk around. I entered the cosplay contest, but I think they're not super familiar with like mascot building. So I didn't have any placements with that, and it was just me and my girlfriend as Bad Bear, Kokoro, and Michelle. But that was only for like one day. It wasn't like a really like major outing or anything. But the first time that I traveled with the suit, I think it was to gosh, do you remember, did Anime NYC come first, or did Bushy's event come first?
Kara,
Which one was
I'm
it?
pretty sure NYC came first. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Anime NYC was the first time I traveled with the suit, which was like, that was a time because obviously it's too big to fly with. It's huge. So, but I decided to bring her there because Ito Miku was going, obviously. And for anyone who doesn't know the seiyuu off the top of their heads, that's Kokoro's voice actor, Japanese voice actor. So obviously I had to go the day she was like confirmed. I booked my plane ticket, I booked my hotel, whatever. And then I was like, oh, I gotta bring the bear because she's got to see the bear. And so I had someone who works in like who is another tier actually. She offered to help me fly the bear over to New York, and she works in like convention shipments and stuff. Like she works for like she was working for an anime store, and she had experience shipping things to the con floor. So we had Michelle shipped by freight in like a giant custom built crate to New York, and it was just delivered right in the convention center. And that was pretty good because that was the first time I was at an event that had anything Bandori related, and obviously it was an event that I was really biased towards because it was, it's Kokoro, she's there. And I wore the suit to her panel, and I got my own hello. She said, like, hi, Michelle, and everyone was clapping, and it was really nice. It was just nice that she could see it. But that was like what was most important to me, was that she could see what I made, and that felt good. And, a lot of people want to take pictures, and it was a pretty good experience. It's always a little stressful carrying that thing around because we have to, I need a team of people to take it somewhere and to put it on. But we entered the cosplay contest there. They had a Bang Dream specific one. It was me and my girlfriend. We both entered, and we had my two friends helping me out. They were dressed as the suits, just making sure that we were okay. And we won the cosplay contest there for the Bandori category, so that was fun. And yeah, overall, I think it was a pretty good experience. And me and my girlfriend both won the lottery to meet Miku after.
Oh,
so
wow.
We both got to meet her later, and that was really amazing. And you make a fool of yourself when you're there in front of her, right? But
yeah.
at the time, it was great. Like overall, it was a really fun convention. Great experience. And then
wow. I think it's so interesting that like it's always like the most dedicated, most avid fans, they're always the one that gets the most rewarded as well, right? Because I think it's just somewhere out there that's just saying, you know what, like these people are just so motivated or so passionate about a particular franchise. In this case, of course, your passion towards Hell Happy, and then they're like, you know what, we'll give you free lottery to meet
it was
Miku
fun
in person. That's really amazing. I know you shared a lot of horror stories about trying to transfer Michelle around and all that, but it's really good to hear that it was I think it was really well worth it for sure. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. Of course, after then you went to Care Expo,
Yep.
and of course
Yep.
Care Expo is very Bang Dream focused, is because it's just very specifically Bushi Road related. So, any fond memories there?
Yeah, to get to that one, we decided to drive 20 hours from Vancouver because we wanted to bring Michelle.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so we had to rent a big old van and we put the bear in the back and we drove 20 hours to uh, where was it? Anaheim.
Yeah, yeah.
And that time I had a whole group of people to do the whole Bad Bear set for Hello Happy, and we entered the cosplay contest there, and we won that one, and that was a lot of fun because Sai was the surprise judge, and so she was like, "Oh, can I pet Michelle?" Like she was asking questions, so she pet my bear suit, and I was like in there, like I can't say anything, I can't do anything, but you know, it was a good experience, and you know, I could see everyone I knew, you know, who was like supporting me and stuff in the crowd, and they were all excited to see it, and it was great to have all my friends there, and just overall, I think it was worth it. The drive was great. Lots of good memories. Not waiting in line though. I didn't like waiting in line for things there. It wasn't the most organized of conventions I've ever been to, but
No.
not by a long shot. But
I could go on to talk about, because obviously Care Expo 2019 was my first time going to Care Expo, and yeah, there were some experiences I agree were very memorable. Other things, I'd rather forget, like waking up at 2 a.m. to prepare my own cosplay and lining up outside at 4
oh
a.m.
no, yeah,
No.
that's
And then getting
yeah.
trampled. Yeah.
Yeah, we wore regular cosplays too. I had casual Misaki and my
Mhm.
girlfriend had casual Kokoro so that we didn't have to always be in the bear all the time.
Yeah.
So you know, when we were doing that, it was a little bit more easy to handle. And then we went to Disneyland, of course,
Oh yeah,
which was
of course.
fun. So
Oh, that's probably a really fun week. You probably have to spend like a whole week, right, to for that whole trip because of
oh
driving
yeah,
and
yeah.
Disney
I
and all
think
that.
it took us like two or 3 days to get there, and then of course we had to drive back, and you know,
Hmm.
it was a whole thing, but it was a good adventure.
For
So
sure, for sure. Of course, now again, when cons hopefully resume in next year, is there any particular con that you feel like you would want to go to, or just kind of seeing depending on the guest list and such?
Um, I don't really have anything in mind. To me,
Hmm.
it's 100% dependent on the guests.
Hmm.
If someone I care about is going, I'll do my best to get there. Otherwise, you know, there has to be something going on for me to want to put the time and effort in because I do a lot of conventions. I think in 2019, before COVID happened, I went to 1 or 2 conventions per month, and that, you know, that part of that was my job,
Hmm.
selling things and stuff. But
Hmm.
you know, it was a lot. And, you know, I think I want to slow down a little bit in terms of, you know, where I want to bring my cosplays to. And, you know, I'm going to be a little bit more choosy. But I can talk about a project that I'm working on with
Hmm.
some friends. Uh, I'll plug my new convention that I'm working on. It's called
Hmm.
Northwest IdolFest. And it is a convention that we are starting this year up in Seattle that is entirely focused on Idol and Idol adjacent franchises. So it's going to be, you know, Love Live, Bang Dream, Idol Master, whatever you're
Hmm.
interested in. And we're having our year zero this year. So, you know, it's going to be a small event, obviously, but that's what I'm looking forward to the most in terms of anime conventions is this one that I'm working on right now. So if you're interested and you're listening, you should go check it out and follow our Twitter because we're going to get some guests. It's going to be a good time.
For sure, for sure. And of course, links, all the links, all resources will be in the description of this video. So I'll probably bug you a bit later to grab those resources, and they will
Yeah, of
definitely be
course.
in the description of the video. So that's good. Let's hope that again, as much as Care Expo was a bit of a mess in terms of organization. At the end of the day, it was really fun for a lot of people that because it was just so focused on a very specific, unique franchises. Maybe one day they'll bring Ito Miku
Yeah,
over,
I'll
and
fund
then
it.
you'll
I'll
have to
fund
drive
it.
all over again. But then of course, you'll have to fight with some interesting people at 4 a.m. in the morning. But let's just hope that they get that sorted before that
Yeah,
actually
I'll be there.
happens.
If it happens, I'd be there. So
Camping at 6 p.m. the day before, right?
yeah, I've done that. I've done that before. I'll do it again. So
You just briefly mentioned about future projects and such, and maybe other things. So before we end off today, are there any other things you are working on? Other than cons or cosplays or any other like hobbies and such you want to mention?
I guess I'm writing some fan fiction. It's all Misakoko, so if you don't like that, you won't like it. But you can check my AO3. It's Giratina's, like the Pokemon Giratina. So if you haven't read it and you want to go read it, you can go read it. I'm writing a lot of things all the time, and I guess I am working on my tattoo. I guess that counts. I have a Hello Happy World tattoo that I'm turning into a sleeve. So that's my current, like, Bang Dream related project, I guess, is spending a lot of money on my arm.
That's definitely fair, and I guess again, hopefully, once things have settled for sure, I think the motivation will come back, and certainly being able to show your cosplay to more people around the world, and maybe to our podcast viewers one day if they go to cons as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be very, very neat to see. So. Feathers, that pretty much concludes everything I wanted to talk about in today's podcast. And once again, thank you so much for being a very accommodating special guest. We learned a lot from you, honestly. There were some parts where I didn't even know that was a thing, like the competitive T1 in quotation, and all the work that you've put in your cosplay and all the con experiences. So hopefully one day again we'll be able to see those cosplays again. Maybe we'll see you here again in the studio, maybe after Hello Happy Band Story 3, or maybe a fun adventure in a con in the future. So
Yeah,
we look
sure.
forward to that.
Yeah, anytime.
All right. Well, again, thank you all so much, everyone, for watching. This is the RePHIL studio, and as of today, the set is complete. So we will hopefully have you all join us in RePHIL in the next episode. With that out of the way, thank you again, special guest Feathers. And of course, feel free to check out all the resources we've talked about in this podcast today in the description below. And we'll catch you all next time. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.